Brian. Remember last week, tens of thousands of people showed up at the anti-tax, anti-spending tea parties across the United States. And do you remember this confrontation? A CNN reporter got into it with a dad who was there. But did the mainstream media cover these events fairly? Let's take a look at one CNN reporter who had her own take on the tea parties. Well, our next guest, Kathy Barkulis, was at that tea party, and although CNN cameras stopped rolling, the CNN reporter continued to speak with the crowd, and we should say that the foundingbloggers.com picked up the video between Kathy and Susan. Good morning to you, Kathy.
Hi.
So in this video, Kathy, you took Susan to task. Let's take a listen at what happened.
You are not talking to regular mainstream people. You picked people to talk to.
That's right. That's right.
I don't have a sign. You're not talking that. You didn't talk to him. He doesn't have a sign. And most people who are here do not believe that it's just the Republicans or just the Democrats.
All right, Kathy, so that was the exchange that you had with that reporter. I want to say in advance that you do not wish her any harm or anything like that, but you were speaking your mind. Why were you so upset?
Well, because I was there before she did the report, and I saw how she was setting it up, and she went over to somebody who had a sign that portrayed Obama as a Nazi, as Hitler, and she decided to zero in on that person and start her report with that person. And it just seemed to me that she was she had an agenda. She wanted to explain that agenda in a certain way, so she picked the sign that she was going to focus on.
And so she didn't pick you, just an average citizen. You say a self-employed suburban woman. She didn't pick you.
I'm a realtor.
Right.
Right.
And yet you were there. You say you've never protested anything before. Why this?
Well, you know, it started with Rick Santelli when he was on the Board of Trade floor and screaming at everyone, why aren't you waking up? Why aren't you listening? American people, your country's being taken away from you. And that's how it started. And I started following it on the internet, and it kind of morphed from taxes to you know, spending, bailouts, TARP, stimulus bills, debts, far more debt and spending than we've ever had historically. And so it got a lot worse, and I just thought, well, I don't have a voice. Most people like me don't have a voice. We're not celebrities. We're not billionaires. We don't own websites that we can control political parties. So this is a way that we could protest, was to go down and make our feelings known, and then to see the media totally misrepresenting what most of those people were down there for was, frankly, kind of outrageous to me.
Well, then it's a double whammy, Kathy, because a lot of people now are saying that the people who came to these tea parties were nut jobs. And now we have David Axelrod, who's in the Obama administration, calling these tea parties, quote, unhealthy. How do you respond?
Well, it's unhealthy for him because there's a lot of people that are against what they're trying to do, which is to shut us up. So the only person it's unhealthy for is, you know, the government and Congress and David Axelrod. For us, for the people that were there, the normal, average, everyday people, we feel like big business is getting bailed out and the average person is getting stuck with the bill. Nobody's bailing out the average person who paid their bills on time, who, you know, did all the right things, and they're being penalized. And so anybody who wants to say that those people who attended those Tea Party protests were racist or unhealthy or misguided, they obviously just don't want to give us credit for protesting, for saying what we feel. And, you know, we're not the kind of people that throw pies in people's faces. I mean, we don't do that. We don't take banners and unfurl them in front of people who are trying to speak their mind. We just try to go down there and speak our mind and try to feel like we have some kind of power and control, which I think a lot of people feel like they have none. Congress doesn't stand up for us.
Well, just like the four moms who started the tea parties down in Orlando and never envisioned 5,000 people showing up, here's Here's another example of Kathy Barkulis out of Chicago. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us this morning, Kathy.
Thanks, Gretchen.